Hey everyone, and welcome back. If you are new here, then hello, my name is Zoe and this is my YouTube channel. Today I'm doing a prom makeup tutorial. So prom is in full swing at the moment and I wanted to share a little bit of inspo from me on here as well. I wanted to do something like quite a classic prom makeup, so it's something that will suit everybody, and if you're doing it yourself at home it will be easy for you to follow along. I'm going to start by just applying some skincare. So this is the Primark Prep and Perfect moisturizer slash primer. I think it's more of like a skincare product really, but I absolutely love it. It's really nice and hydrating. I don't really do like primers that much. As long as you've got like a nice tacky base for your foundation to sit on top of, then you should be fine, and you'll find that it lasts a lot longer. So I am going to start with eyes. So I'm going to use my Can't Stop Won't Stop concealer from NYX. I would usually use the P. Louise eyeshadow base, but I don't think I have it at the moment. I must have run out, so I need to get a new one of that. So I'm just going to use this as my eye base instead. You could use the concealer or foundation, whichever you've got. But do try and put something underneath your eyeshadow if you're doing it yourself, just because it'll make it last a lot longer. And it'll bring out the colours of your eyeshadow a little bit more as well. If you are doing your own makeup for prom, I would recommend doing eyes first, because especially if you're using like a little bit of glitter and things like that, you don't want it all falling down onto your foundation if you've done that first. Okay, so eyes are prepped and ready to go. For eyeshadow palette, I'm going to use the Life's a Drag palette from Luna Beauty. I absolutely love this palette, and it's got like all the perfect neutrals that you'll need ever, and then some brighter colours as well just to play around with. So I'm going to start with this quite neutral brown at the top. That one is called Hunty. So I'm using this more as my transition shade, so I'm gonna just pop it straight into the socket. And I am going to be doing this look a little bit more winged out today. I think a winged out makeup for prom just looks so pretty. So concentrating mainly like on the outer corner and just flicking some of that eyeshadow back. My eyes are really red at the moment. I've got the worst hay fever ever, so I'm hoping that they don't start running and messing up this makeup today. Okay, so just to deepen up the outer corners a little bit more, we're going to go in with this one, which is Mug. Again, it's quite a neutral brown, but it's quite dark, and it's really nice for like smoky liners and things like that. I'm taking it on a smaller brush this time, and I'm going to pat this on to the outer corner. And with this, again, I am just going to flick it out a tiny bit. So always remember, like with the darkest eyeshadows you go, the less you want to blend them out. So the lighter eyeshadows, they're your transition colours, so you want to blend them out quite far. And then the deeper and darker you go with your shadows, try not to blend it out as far as the one you've used before, and that way you'll get a really nice smoky effect. Okay, next we're going to go in with the black shade, which is Shady. So I'm going to be quite light-handed with this because I don't want it to be super dark on the outer corners. I'm going to take it just on one side of the brush, and I'm just going to pat it on the very outer corner as if I was doing like a smoky liner, just to deepen up the very outer corner and a tiny bit into the crease. I don't want much at all, but I just want the very outer corner to be the darkest area. Black eyeshadow can be a little bit harder to work with, but just remember, the more that you keep blending over the top, the more that it diffuses it. So if you feel like you've applied a little bit too much, don't worry, just keep on blending over it and it will buff away slightly. Okay, so to make the pigment pop that we're going to apply, I'm going to just put Beat underneath, which is a really nice champagne colour. You can like just apply this if you want to and then not apply any glitter over the top, but I feel like if it's prom makeup, you want that bit of extra sparkle. Okay, then we can move on to pigment. For pigment, I'm going to use an Old Faithful, which is MAC Reflex Gold, which is one of my all-time favourite pigments. I'll see if I can show you what it looks like. I don't know if you can pick it up. It's like a very like fine glitter, and it reflects gold, obviously by the name, but it's quite like an iridescent like colour to it as well. Like, it's just so pretty. I love the matte pigments, and I also love the peaches and cream pigments as well. I've got loads of them and I use them on all of my clients, and it just makes your eyeshadow like so much more elevated. Underneath I'm going to put the NYX Glitter Primer. You'll definitely need some kind of primer so that it doesn't all fall down during the night. It's just so pretty. It's not like too silver, it's not too gold, it'll go with any outfit. As you can see, we have had a little bit of fallout, which is why I always do try to do eyes first. So I'm just going to take just a little bit of tissue with some micellar water on and just clean that off. And then while I do that, I'm going to sharpen up my eyeshadow a little bit as well. So just taking a straight edge, I'm just going to sharpen it up, and I'm going to do a wing. So this is going to help give me something like a line to trace from. Okay, then I'm going to do a winged eyeliner. I'm going to use a tattoo liner from Kat Von D. It's like the only eyeliner pen that I can use. I do feel like winged eyeliner is starting to come back in. It went away for a little bit, but I do feel like it's back. So I'm going to hold my breath while I do my wing like I usually do. But I can follow that sharp line that we've created with the shadow. So just before I put my lashes on, I'm going to use the Great Lash Mascara just to blend in my natural lashes because they are so fair. If you struggle with lashes and you're doing your own prom makeup, put your glue on and then just leave them to sit there for a little bit, because they are so much easier to apply if the glue's a bit tacky. So just leave them for a couple of minutes before you try to apply them and you should be fine then. I'm going to let them dry off, do my base next. So for foundation I'm going to use the NARS Radiant Longwear. This is in the shade Fiji. I haven't tanned at all today, so I'm hoping this one will be okay. I'm going to build this up to quite a full coverage as well because it is prom and I feel like you have to go out all out of a prom. And also it's got to last, especially if you're going to be dancing all night. I do have a couple of videos as well on like how to create a really full coverage long lasting base. So if you want like extra tips and things on how to make your makeup last, then I'll leave them in the description as well, because you could follow that tutorial for skin if you wanted to. But there are a few like really good tips in there to make your makeup last that bit longer. Okay, I'm happy with that coverage. I'm going to do the same concealer. I'm going to use that to really sharpen up under the eyes as well. And I'll do a little bit of highlighting today as well, and then start to blend that in. Okay, happy with that. Let's move on to contour. For contour, I'm going to use the Kat Von D Beauty. This is the Mod Con Gel Contour, and it's in the shade Light Warm. That was a mouthful. But these look so pretty and they're so easy to work with as well. Sometimes I think like liquid contours and bronzers, sometimes they can be a bit hard to blend out, but these are not like that at all. So mainly on the cheeks, a little bit around the forehead. I'll do a tiny bit down the sides of my nose, but I don't usually like contour my nose because I don't really know how. And then just buff this in. Try to use a really light hand so it doesn't move the foundation underneath. I'm going to do a tiny bit of liquid blush. I'm going to use this base from P. Louise, and I absolutely love using these at the moment for blushes. So this is in the shade Winter Rose. The tiniest bit goes a really long way, so just pat a little bit on and then just pat it on either side and work it in with your finger first, because your finger will be quite warm. It will melt into the cream products underneath, and it's just a little bit easier to work with that way. And then once you're happy with it, go in with your beauty blender and it just like takes the edge off, but they just look so pretty. I've never really been like a blush person, but I absolutely love using these. So we need to set this now because we do not want it moving during our dancing. So I'm going to use the RCMA No Colour Powder. This looks really nice in photos as well, which is why I've chosen it. Really press it in. I always start with the under eyes because that's always the area that creases first on me. And then I'll go like in my T-zone area. So they are the only places that I'm going to set for now because I am a little bit more dry. Once I've applied my bronzer and everything, I feel like that sets the perimeter of my face, whereas if you are a bit more oily, you could just dust over with a little bit of this powder just to set your foundation first and then go in with your bronzers, and it will last a lot longer. I'm going to use the Butter Bronzer from Physicians Formula, and I'm going to pat this on rather than swipe it around because I definitely don't want to move anything that we've just done now underneath. Okay, then before I apply my powder blush, I'm just gonna sharpen up under my contour area. So I'm just taking on the flat side of the sponge a little bit of that powder and just scoop it underneath your contour. And then just leave that to sit there for a bit. And for blush, I'm going to use Milani's Luminosa, which is my fave. Okay, and then I'm just going to sweep that away because I'm quite dry, so I can't leave my bake there for that long. Okay, so let's just finish the eyes. I do want them to be like quite smoky, so the first thing that I'm going to do is line my waterline. This is that brown pencil from Barry M. And I really can't do this without pulling stupid faces. So underneath, I want it to look a little bit smoky with a tiny bit of sparkle to it. So I'm going to first go in with Mug. I'm going to run this just along the lower lash line, staying thicker on the outer corner and like quite thin to the inner corner. And then straight over the top, I'm going to put Legendary, which is like quite a nice gold. And I think it'll make it look like quite bronzy underneath. So popping this just straight over that brown. Okay, let's do some mascara. I'm going to do a tiny bit of highlighter. This is the Fenty Beauty Royal Icing. I'm just going to apply just a little bit with my finger, just on the very, very tops of my cheekbones. For lips, I'm going to do Morphe's liner. This is in Bite Me. I'm going to do a gloss just because the eyes are like nice and sparkly as well. I'm going to use the Lifter Gloss. This is from Maybelline. It's in the shade Stone. And I absolutely love it. Okay, this is what I would wear if I was going to prom. Nice and glittery, nice and flawless. And I just think it looks so pretty. I hope you can see the glitter properly because it looks so nice. Okay guys, so that is my classic prom makeup look. I really hope you did enjoy it. I hope that I kept it easy for you guys to follow along because this will literally look nice on anyone and it'll go nice with any dress colour as well. Thank you so much for watching. Give it a big thumbs up if you did like it and don't forget to subscribe as well, and I will see you next week in my next one. Bye!